to get disrupted because the business model of our traditional institutions is woefully broken. Part of that is an affordability question, but the bigger question we have to be asking is return on investment, the value, right? So if I take out a bunch of loans, but I get a good paying job, the trade-off of that upfront investment is very different than if I go to college and like 40 to 50%, I'm gonna get this statistic wrong, actually drop out but have the burden of a loan. I am screwed, right? So that's a very different calculus than looking at pure price tag, which is what the media will mostly report on, and what presidential debates will talk about over the coming months. Now, what we're seeing as promising alternatives are, again, back to what I said in the last question, playing with dosage. If you think of college instead as actually a bundle of experiences that we could offer in a more customized way that are targeted at both students' interests and passions, targeted skill building, targeted network building, you start to actually open up to a much broader option set of ways that students can learn, and you lower the opportunity cost and the risk involved in signing up for this 4 to 6 year experience that we sort of arbitrarily put in this box and call college. So that's everything from coding bootcamps, micro-internships. I'm actually way more excited about than coding bootcamps these days. Coding bootcamps have sort of suspended in my excitement. But shorter cycle learning experiences that are still high quality, right? Shorter doesn't have to mean worse. So that's one of the phenomena we're looking at a lot.
And the scale of your problem that you bring up, just to put it in context, in 2018 there were 33 million Americans who had some college, no degree, and debt.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, like that. You think about that. You think there's people in our lives that have that. It doesn't come in one package. But I want to get back to associations for a second and where I think they can play an amazing role. I don't think most teachers and most students are aware of tuition assistance programs, number one. I think associations need to be out there saying, you know what, in our association, CompTIA, NAM, you name it, whatever the association is, this percent of our employers participate in tuition assistance programs, and explain to students in 9th grade what that means. And it means when you're looking at a part-time job, should you go to Macy's or should you go to UPS? UPS gives you tuition assistance as a part-time worker. Nobody tells people that unless their parents worked at UPS. Macy's is a wonderful organization. I hope they stay in the business forever. I have a retail therapy problem. But they don't help part-time workers with their education. Maybe they should start. Maybe we should talk to the NRF about that. But I think that's something that associations could really help students make an informed thing. And the other thing is, I think they should talk much more openly about credentials. I think they should talk about what credentials their employers recognize and value in hiring. It's always going to be a baccalaureate. It's always going to be an associate's degree. In what? If I get an associate's degree in liberal arts, are you going to look at me the same way as as if I had an associate's degree in engineering technology? Probably not. And if I'm not dying to be a scholar on the Brontes and teach post-secondary education after I get my PhD, maybe that will change my drift. I was just going for English because I like to read. But maybe engineering technology, I can do technical reading as well. So I think if the associations really got out there and said, these are the 5 credentials that you could get, because you could get many of them you could get test prep for many of them online and pay $49 for the test fee and get that before you graduate from high school. So you're entering the college or work world with more than a high school diploma.
Lauren, anything to add to that?
Yeah, definitely just piggybacking off of that. Credentialing is such a big thing right now, but again, there's that disconnect to the students. They're not hearing about these opportunities. I'm finding now that a lot of my peers are going to get their MA in nonprofit management, but there's also the CAE. So it's less expensive and it's highly recognized in the industry. So it's such a great opportunity. But a lot of people are we hear so much about the student loan debt, the high cost of college, but there's other alternatives. There's other routes that credentialing and continuing education is a huge one.
I was listening to some of the concerning because they were saying, why are these people saying that it was so low? And it had to do with the relevance. The more relevant that they found their education to their jobs, the higher value that they placed on their experience. And so what I was listening to, the interview that I was listening to, went on to talk about how important it was for the relevance